Not every significant thing announces itself. Not every moment that is going to change something in your life arrives with noise or drama or the kind of obvious urgency that puts you on alert. Some of the most important things that ever happen to a person arrive quietly, planned in private, carried carefully in someone else's hands while you go about your ordinary days completely unaware that anything extraordinary is being assembled on your behalf. That is what is happening right now, Virgo. While you are living your life doing the things you do, managing what you manage, being completely present in everything that is not this, someone is planning something quietly, deliberately, with a care and an attention to detail that would honestly move you if you could see it. Something that has your specific tastes and your specific needs and your specific way of experiencing the world built into every decision they are making about it. Something that is being put together not for a general you, but for the you. They have been paying close enough attention to actually know, and they do know you. That is the thing that is going to hit you hardest when this unfolds. Not just what they planned, but the evidence of knowing that is embedded in it. The proof in every specific detail that someone has been paying the kind of attention that most people only dream of receiving. That you have been seen, really seen by someone who has taken what they saw and turned it into something tangible and real and entirely specifically yours. Drop the word beautiful in the comments right now and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Because what is being built for you in the quiet, in the private interior of someone who has decided that you deserve something extraordinary is going to arrive when you least expect it and land harder than you are prepared for. And the only preparation worth having is the preparation of being open enough to receive it completely when it does. Let me start with who this person is. Not by name or by the obvious identifying details, but by the quality of their energy, the specific texture of who they are and how they move through the world, because understanding them is going to help you understand why the thing they are planning carries the particular weight that it carries. This is someone who does not do things halfway. That is the first and most defining thing I feel about their energy. Whatever they undertake, work, relationships, the ordinary tasks of a daily life, the significant gestures of a life lived with genuine intention, they do with a completeness that most people simply do not bring to things. They are a finisher, a thoroughgoing, leave nothing undone, make sure it is actually right kind of person. And that quality, which in other contexts is simply who they are, is in this context being brought entirely to bear on you, on something they are creating for you. On the question of how to make you feel in a single moment or a sustained experience, something that they have been wanting to make you feel for longer than they have probably admitted to anyone. This is also someone who pays attention in the specific way that matters, not the attentive to what they want from you kind of attention, the attentive to who you actually are kind. They have accumulated you without making it obvious, without drawing attention to the fact that they have been watching and listening and storing things away. They have built up a detailed and specific picture of what you love and what you need and what moves you and what makes you feel genuinely cared for versus merely considered. They know the difference between what you say you want and what you actually want, between what you would accept and what would genuinely delight you. And what they are planning is calibrated to the latter. So not to what would be adequate or appropriate or thoughtful by general standards, to what would make you specifically feel something real. That calibration, that specific tuning to the actual you rather than a general approximation of you, is the thing that is going to make this land differently from anything you've received before. It is going to feel like being known, because it is being known. Every decision they are making about this carries the fingerprint of someone who has paid real attention and is now using what they learned to give you something that could only be for you. I want to describe the planning itself, the process of it, what it looks like from the inside of this person's experience as they put this together, because there is something in the quality of their planning that I want you to feel, even at a distance, because feeling it will give you a sense of what this is before it arrives. They are being meticulous. This is not a casual or spontaneous thing they are assembling. It is deliberate. They have thought about it in the spaces between other things, in the quiet moments, in the particular mental engagement that happens when something matters enough to occupy your thinking, even when you haven't specifically set time aside to think about it. They have run through scenarios, considered options, chosen some things and discarded others, not because the discarded things were bad, but because they were not quite right, not quite specific enough, not quite the thing that would land with the precision they are going for. There is also joy in the planning. That is something that came through when I connected to this energy, and that I want to make sure I describe accurately, because it is important. This is not a person doing something out of obligation or performing a gesture because the situation seems to require one. They are genuinely enjoying this. The thinking about you, the imagining of your response, the pleasure of assembling something that has the potential to produce in you a particular feeling, all of it is bringing them something, a kind of private happiness that exists in the space before the thing is shared, the specific happiness of a secret that is a good one, of knowing something wonderful is coming and being the one who gets to deliver it. They think about your reaction regularly. In their quieter moments, they run forward in time to the moment of your receiving what they have planned, and they imagine your face, your response, the specific thing that happens in you when something reaches you at the level this is intended to reach you. And what that imagined response produces in them is a warmth that they find difficult to contain and have stopped trying entirely to contain in the privacy of their own experience. They cannot wait to give you this. And the not being able to wait is itself a kind of pleasure for them. The anticipation of your joy has become something they carry through their days with a lightness that is different from their ordinary baseline. Something is better about their days because this is in them, because you are in them, because the knowledge of what they are building toward what they get to give you makes the ordinary texture of life slightly more luminous than it would otherwise be. Now, I want to speak to what the thing being planned actually represent, because it is easy to receive a beautiful gesture as a gesture and stop there to appreciate the surface of it without understanding the depth from which it came. And what this person is offering you is not primarily a gesture, it is a communication. The most sincere and specific communication they know how to make about something they have been wanting to communicate for longer than the planning of this particular thing has been underway. What they are communicating is that you matter, not in the vague everybody matters sense, in the specific, irreplaceable, I have thought about your particular happiness, and it is important to me sense that is genuinely rare. The kind of mattering that produces in a person the desire to do something, not just to feel something, not just to think something, but to translate what they feel and think into action, into something real and tangible that exists in the world and that demonstrates more clearly than words alone could that the feeling is serious. What they are also communicating underneath the primary message is readiness. A readiness that has been building for a while and that this gesture is partly designed to express. Readiness for something more than what has existed between you until now. For something named, something intentional, something that both of you are consciously and clearly choosing rather than simply finding yourselves in by default. The beautiful thing they are planning is not just a beautiful thing. It is an opening move in a conversation they have decided they are ready to have. A statement of intention delivered in the most Virgo-compatible way possible, not through words alone, which can be misinterpreted or softened or taken back, but through action, through something created, through the undeniable evidence of care translated into something real. They know that you respond to realness, to the evidence of genuine effort and genuine thought and genuine knowledge of who you are. They know that the performance of feeling moves you less than the demonstration of it. And so they are demonstrating in the most specific and personal and carefully assembled way they know how. Let me speak to your side of this, to what is happening in you in the lead up to something you do not yet know is coming. Because the cards are not just showing me their planning, they are showing me your energy in this period of unknowing, and there is something in it worth naming. You have been in a quiet season, not a difficult one, necessarily quieter than that, a season of turning slightly inward, of tending to yourself and your own world with a care and an attentiveness that is Virgo at its most self-aware. A season of some reflection, of asking yourself questions that do not always have immediate answers, of sitting with things with your own wants and your own direction and your own sense of what you are building toward and what you want in your life going forward, with more willingness than usual to let the sitting be open-ended rather than immediately productive. That inwardness is not disconnection. It is preparation, and I do not mean manufactured, deliberate preparation. I mean the organic, natural, this is what the soul does before something significant arrives kind of preparation. The quieting that happens before something is received, the making of internal space, the becoming, without trying to become anything in particular, slightly more open than usual to something arriving from outside your own carefully tended world. Something is about to arrive from outside your carefully tended world, and the quiet season you have been in, whatever its surface characteristics, has been making you ready for it in ways you will only understand in retrospect. There is also something else in your energy that the cards keep returning to, a particular kind of hope that you have been carrying with careful hands. Not extravagant hope. Virgo does not tend toward extravagance in its hoping. The quiet, closely held, not quite admitted kind. The hope that lives in the small moments of warmth you have allowed yourself around this person, in the way your attention organizes itself differently when they are present, in the specific quality of ease that exists in their company that you have noticed and not entirely known what to do with. That hope is about to be met, not approximately, precisely, with the specific thing that was always going to be the thing that met it, the evidence that you were being paid the same quality of attention that you have been quietly carefully, not quite admitting to paying them. What happens when this arrives? What do the cards show me about the moment of your receiving what has been so quietly and carefully prepared? There is going to be a moment of genuine surprise, not the performed, polite surprise of someone going through the social motions of receiving something unexpected. The real kind. The kind where your composure does something it rarely does genuinely and visibly softens. Where the careful management of expression that Virgo maintains almost as second nature simply is not available in time to prevent what you actually feel from showing on your face. And what you actually feel is going to be layered. The first layer is going to be the surprise itself, the simple, clean, completely unguarded shock of something landing that you did not see coming. The second layer, arriving almost simultaneously, is going to be recognition, the specific feeling of seeing yourself in something that someone else has made. The experience of encountering your own particular preferences and your own specific way of experiencing beauty and your own quiet desires reflected back at you in the choices this person has made. That recognition, I am known, someone actually knows me, is going to land somewhere very deep. The third layer is going to be the one that stays with you longest. Gratitude of a very specific kind. Not the ordinary social gratitude of a thank you that is appropriate to the occasion. Something more personal and more interior than that. Gratitude that is really just another word for being moved, for being touched in the particular place that only the real things can reach, for having someone demonstrate in the most tangible way possible that your specific and particular and completely individual self has been worth the time and the attention and the care that this planning represents. You are going to feel worth it. That is the simplest way I can say what this moment is going to give you. Genuinely, specifically, in the most personal and undeniable way, worth it. Let me tell you what comes after the moment. What these cards are showing me about the shape of what follows when the beautiful thing has been received and the knowing it represents has been fully understood and the conversation it opens has finally properly begun. What follows is a different quality of connection between you, one that has the before and after character of something that was changed by a single experience and cannot return to what it was before that experience. Before this moment, you are in a particular configuration, aware of each other, perhaps drawn to each other, perhaps already in some form of connection that has warmth and substance, but that has not yet been named or claimed or given the full deliberate intention of two people who have decided on each other. After this moment, you are in a different configuration entirely, one defined by the knowledge that has passed between you, by the unambiguous demonstration of care that now exists as something real and shared rather than as something this person has been carrying privately, by the conversation that the gesture opens, the honest, finally saying the thing conversation that both of you have been approaching from different directions and that this moment finally makes possible. That conversation is going to be one of the most significant ones you have had in a long time, not dramatic, not charged with the anxious energy of things that might go wrong, warm, easy in the way that honest things tend to be easy once the decision to be honest has been made. Full of the particular relief of two people who have both been hoping for the same thing and are finally in the same room at the same time with the same information and the same willingness to say so. What gets built from that conversation has the quality of something built on honest ground, with full information, by people who have chosen each other not in the rush of chemistry or the fog of projection, but in the clear light of actually knowing each other and finding that what they know makes them want more. That is the most durable foundation there is. And what gets built on it tends to last. One more thing before we close. One thing that I felt strongly from the beginning of this reading and have been moving toward, and that I want to say in the plainest possible language because it deserves plainness rather than ornamentation. You have spent a significant amount of your life being the one who gives the care rather than the one who receives it, being the one who notices the details and tends to them, being the one who remembers and anticipates and shows up in the specific, thorough, completely attentive way that makes the people who receive it feel genuinely seen. You have done this naturally because it is native to who you are, because Virgo's love language is fundamentally one of service and attention, and the thousand small acts of genuine caring that accumulate over time into something a person can feel completely held by. You have held many people, and you have not always been held in return with the same quality of care. You brought what is coming, what is being assembled for you right now, and the quiet is holding. The specific, attentive, you have been seen, and I want you to feel it kind. The kind that knows how to hold Virgo specifically. That does not offer generic warmth or generalized affection, but the particular, detailed, I paid attention kind of care that is the only kind that reaches you at the depth where you actually live. Let yourself be held. When this arrives, when the beautiful, quietly planned, specifically calibrated thing makes its way to you, let it land all the way. Do not redirect immediately to what you can do in return. Do not compress the experience of receiving into something more manageable. Just receive fully. Let yourself feel what it feels like to be known and cared for and considered in the most specific and personal and genuine way. You have given this feeling to others for a very long time. It is time for it to come home to you. Tell me in the comments, can you feel something being assembled, that particular atmospheric quality of something good approaching that you cannot quite name, but that your body registers before your mind catches up? Drop beautiful if this reading landed somewhere real and quiet in you today. Tell me if someone came to mind. Tell me if the quality of attention I described matches something you have been noticing and not quite letting yourself believe. Because what you have been noticing is real, and what is being planned for you is more beautiful than you are currently allowing yourself to imagine. Open wider than that. It is worth it with everything, Virgo. I will see you in the next one.